In previous lessons, we learned that all the keys on the piano have two names, which we refer to as enharmonics. We also learned that the smallest intervals in music are steps, and there can be half steps and whole steps. Half steps are keys that are next to each other and sequential in the alphabet. Whole steps are also sequential in the alphabet, but they have one key in between the two. What we're going to do next is build major scales. This is what all these tools are used for. In music, there are 15 major scales, and each of them has a separate key signature. We'll learn what these key signatures are as we build them. The components that we need to know are here in blue. These concepts do not change from scale to scale. We will learn that there are scale degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the basic frame for a major scale, as well as minor. The step formula specific to major scales is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We use the slogan, "We were happy when we were home," which has taken on a new meaning these days. And we will also learn that there are chord symbols that pertain to the chords that we extract from these scales. The primary chords which we are going to focus on are what we call the tonic, used with a Roman numeral 1. The Roman numeral indicates a chord. And when it's a 1, the Roman numeral 1 refers to a chord built on the first scale degree. The subdominant chord is represented by a Roman numeral 4 because it is built on the fourth scale degree. And the dominant chord, represented by a Roman numeral 5, is built on the fifth scale degree. So we're going to start with the basics, which you'll see in the unit worksheet. We're going to start with the letter names for C major scale, which we should be familiar with. I'm going to mark these letters in magenta or purple so that we see from scale to scale these concepts change. So let me move my text box up here, and I'm going to build my scale. So if we have C major, we start with the letter C. Let me make them a little bit bigger now. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, I have to go slowly because the dots keep coming up, and C. So I have used all 7 letters in the musical alphabet. They are in sequence by steps. And the next thing we do after we lay down our letters is we identify the step formula. The formula is the key to building a scale. So we're going to ask, from C to D, do we have a whole step? Yes, we do. There's one black key in between. From D to E, do we have a whole step? The answer is yes. From D to E, there's a black key. Between E and F and B and C, we know from our previous studies that these are where the half steps lie on the piano. And that's where this function in the formula works. So everything else is a whole step. So let's try a different scale. Let's work with, let's work with the scale of G major. We're going to start on G, and we're going to work up our way. G, F, alphabetically in sequence. So I'm going backwards, aren't I? A, B, C, D, E, F, and we're going to get to G. So we start and we end on the keynote. We have every letter represented sequentially by steps. And the last thing we do, we must apply this step formula to make sure it's a major scale. So let's go back from G to A. Do we have a whole step? You'll find we do. A to B is a whole step. B to C we know is one of the half steps. We needed it anyhow, so it works. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F is the second place where there are half steps, but we need a whole step. So what we have to do is we have to think from E to F being a half step to we have to do something to the F to make it a whole step, in which case we're going to use that concept of raising the note to F sharp. Let me move this over a little. Once I raise the F, remember with raising and lowering, we cannot change the letter name. We have F sharp. And from F sharp to G, if we did it right, this will be a half step. And it is. So this is our G major scale. Move to the next slide to learn how to extract our chords.